All right, let's get into it. We have an interesting one here for you today. These are all 1976 Bicentennial coinage. Now, let me reiterate 1976, the date itself, which features a myriad of really cool coins from the Lincoln cent to the nickel, dime, quarter, half dollar, and dollar. Just so we're clear, that's what we're going to talk about. These are all coins that folks have been finding here recently. All sales are from 2023. These are all up to date, and this is, my friends, a pretty nice list of coins. Now, we're all pretty familiar with the updated design, dual date bicentennial coinage for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. Sure, they're all fantastic, and they have an important place in numismatics on their own right. But we also have to talk about the other three little tiny coins in there, from the Lincoln cent to the dime. It just feels like a more complete faction of different coins and possibilities. Because if you're just trying to look for one, you're really short selling yourself at the end of the day. So we're on eBay, we're on Great Collections, baby, and we are on Heritage Auctions. We have a number of coins from all of them. Most of them are confirmed sales. However, on eBay, I've come across a few very tantalizing and interesting coins that are currently available for one lucky collector. Maybe it's you that wants to buy them up. Now, what's the deal with 1976? We're a very short ways away from the 250th anniversary, which the U.S. Mint had already announced that they're going to do something mighty special in 2026. We're going to see what that is here very shortly. But the allure with the 200-year anniversary couldn't be more important, understated, whatever you want to throw in there. These coins are really cool. All right, so first coin up to bat is going to be a 1976 quarter. It's a Philadelphia minted coin that does not bear any sort of physical mint mark on the coin. It would be on the obverse if it did. But this is the first one here. Now, we're going to see a wide array of different prices. All right, we're not going to just focus primarily on coins that sell for $1,000 and up. Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. But we also have to have a little perspective on the low-hanging fruit stuff that people generally, non-collectors primarily, would overlook. So this one right here says major reverse grease strike error circulated. Okay, the coin certainly does look circulated. Not the best looking example, but there you go. That's your dual date. But check this out. Woo! Very nice. Yeah, we have a pretty substantial strike through here. I would suspect it's a fair amount of grease that was on the die. Possibly some debris mixed in there. Could be anything, metal shavings, pieces of wood, whatever. All right, dirt, dust, and maybe yesterday's lunch. I don't know. But this one right here ended up selling for $22.50 through 25 bits. It's raw, too. Quick little thing about error coins. You don't necessarily have to grade them. That's kind of been one of the forcing stigmas in the hobby today with a lot of new people coming into it. They see a video about a coin that was talked about, whether it's myself or someone else, graded a certain way, they can be worth quite a fortune. But I'm here to tell you, errors and varieties, you don't necessarily have to grade them. Especially when it comes to coins with this kind of like dollar value here. If you could imagine handing over $30 to a PCGS or NGC grading company to get that graded, and it still ends up selling for 20 to 30 bucks, you would lose out. All right. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Save your money, keep it in your pocket. Here's a 1976 Lincoln Memorial Cent with a cut die break, and it's right there above the word trust. Okay, a little piece of the die had fractured and fallen out just due to general wear and tear. So when it produces the coins, that cavity in the die will fill in during the strike. That's where all the metal flow actually goes in there. It creates a mass, kind of like what you see here. Here's a little bit better close-up, I guess. When we look at the reverse, generally where the cut is, and this one doesn't show too much of it, you're going to see a little bit of weakness in that area, but the cut is small enough that, in certain cases, it's not going to show, and that's fine. How about $42 back in March 26 for 2 bids there? Not too shabby. Always keep an eye out. There is actually a lot to find regarding error coins for this particular date, and especially on Lincoln Cents. There's a lot of major die breaks and cracks and various die clashes and all sorts of neat stuff that carries a lot of collector value into it. Next one that we have here, this little gem ended up selling just short of a month ago. This time on a quarter, and it's struck about 10-15% off center per the seller listing. When we take a closer look here, you can see that is definitely the case. You can see some of the devices on the opposite side of that off center strike are cut off. All right, so beautiful coin. This one looks like it has a little circulation wear. It's got a few carbon spots on there, so it's a coin with personality. And as you can see, there is an absence of the reading. Generally with an off-center strike or a broad strike, something with the collar might have malfunctioned. That's the thing, that the collar is a die in itself, and it has the reeds in there. So when it strikes the coins, the collar is supposed to be engaged to keep the coin in place. And when it's not there, it's going to present coins that look like this with just a plain edge. And oftentimes the coins may be a lot larger than what the standard measurements are for such. But pretty cool. I mean, very nice sale here. $60.55, 10 bids, May 11th. Very good. Here is a grand old cut on here. This one's sold on tax day, April 15th. Check this thing out. So a relatively much larger size cut piece of the die had fallen out. All right. This one shows a much better example of what the weakness should look like on the reverse, because you don't have a full strike there on both sides of the coin because part of the die is missing on the obverse there. So this one right here, again, take note, ungraded, $105.05 with 3 bids. I will say this, yet for probably the 200th time, cuds are kings in the marketplace. These things have just strong market staying power. They sell for quite a bit of money, and you really can't go wrong with these. Believe it or not, this coin ended up coming up on auction here a few weeks ago. I talked about this one in a recent Pocket Change market report. This is a Bicentennial $half, and it's off center by quite a bit. They said 10%, but this is looking more like 20 to 25%, to the point where you don't see a date. But the reason why that you would know it is a Bicentennial is it has Independence Hall on the reverse, and this coin is in really nice shape. So some of you are probably going to ask, where are coins like this being found? Because they are quite obvious, right? And a lot of these were found distributed in mint-sewn bags. All right, so they go from the mint to the Federal Reserve Bank, and then they branch out from there to various armored car companies, to the banks directly, you name it. But that's where these are being found at. And to this day, if you're lucky enough to come across a mint-sewn bag of any bicentennial date coin, from Lincoln Cent to the dollars, that's going to be one heck of a search. This one here, $255 with 25 bids, probably one of a few coins that I would possibly entertain grading. Annex and NGC are probably my 2 top picks to submit this to due to cost. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful looking coin. Hard to believe that this one has lasted so long without at least being in a graded holder. And we have a couple more raw ones here on eBay. We have yet again another Bicentennial. This one's off center by about 10%. However, this one is actually graded. So, as far as the overall appearance of this coin, it's not as dramatic as the previous coin that we saw before it. But what really put this one into the next level is that they went and graded it. All right. Ungraded probably would have been $100 to $150 sale raw. But grading a coin like this, it's a no-brainer. In addition, it's sold by one of the bigger error dealers in the United States, Sullivan Numismatics. So $300 sale on this one. Next one that we have here, finally, we have our first Eisenhower dollar. This is a double struck example, graded by PCGS. The second strike is 98% off center, and it's a Type 1 reverse. So this one has the big block letters, or actually that looks like a Type 2. No, maybe it's a Type 1 on the business strike clads. But there's your off-center strike on this one there. All right, it's nothing too crazy. You don't even see any devices on that off-center piece there. But this one nonetheless sold for $550 here in the last 90 days. So, right nice, right pretty. So, here are a few coins that possibly, if you got deep enough pockets, you might want to entertain buying. And they're all legit. I only picked the best ones out of the group. How about 1976 Lincoln Memorial set that was struck on a clad dime blank? Wow. All right, so almost $2,000 here. This is a previous Fred Weinberg piece. His collection sold here recently through Heritage Auctions with pretty good results. As a matter of fact, a lot of people did buy them up. A lot of people did flip them or are attempting to flip them, like CTF Error Coins here. Again, another big error dealer. But yeah, this one's pretty neat. And quite rare. I'm not going to say unique because I've seen a few of these 1976 Lincolns struck on clad plants. So that's another one there if you guys are feeling a little bit bold and brave. CTF also has a double denom. This is a 6-cent coin is what we call it, because it's a Jefferson nickel that was struck on an already produced Lincoln set, probably the same date here. PCGS Mid-State 64 red-brown. Incredibly stunning coin. Very nice. It's the red-brown patina to it. Really gives it a whole new dimension. This one is available for $2,750. CTF, continuing on with the Bangers. How about a Bicentennial $half? This is a Denver, and it was struck struck through cloth is what this one is. You can see the cross hatching of the actual material. Again, it could be anything. My thoughts are probably it's going to be like a rag of some sort or a towel is what was struck through here. But there you go. PCGS Mid-State 65. And no doubt about it, I think grading this is the right call because it's a much more advanced, much more radical, very dramatic error that it warrants grading like this. And this one is available few pennies shy of $4,000. So yeah. And probably one of the more impressive coins that's currently available. This one's by Century Collection. Is a 76 Candy $half. If it looks like you're seeing double here, you probably are. 50% off center struck, and with a full mirrored reverse brockage, which is on the right side there. So very impressive. The coin looks like it's circulated a little bit, which is funny. That's all funny to me. Mid-State 62, which probably means it was in a bag of other $half, and it was having a rough go at it with other coins, or it might have circulated just a shade. Just a very, very little bit here. But this is a very impressive piece. Now, this one I can honestly say is unique. All right, there's probably been only one or two examples that have ever existed. It's $54 the right call here. Someone who's interested, might say it is. Let's see. I think this is probably the last eBay available coin for sale. This is a Eisenhower dollar 76S silver proof. It says proof on there. It was struck on outer clad layer. So it was just struck on the silver. And as you guys know, these 40% silver planchets are silver and copper, if I'm not mistaken. So the copper was completely gone. It was just the two, or maybe just one clad layer that was thick enough to receive most of the design on here. But you can see this thing is pretty nutty. Pretty nutty. So that, yeah, that's a 40% clad layer right there. Really sharp. Very visually stunning to the eye. Again, talk about unique pieces. This one's being offered at $10,000 by none other than Mike Byers, who is a buyer of some pretty scarce errors, like one-offs, stuff that you only hear about in fairy tales. All right, a few great collection sales here since the beginning of the year. Again, all of these sales are from January 1 of 2023, so very recent stuff. A lot of fresh finds. 1976D Ike dollar struck through debris. All right, this one ended up selling for a song, $58.50. This might be one of those candidates where you don't need to grade it, but you could see a little bit of strike through on the obverse there. But most importantly, what you see here on the reverse is where it's at. Struck through debris could be a clump of grease that's hardened over time, and some various debris bits. Again, metal shavings, dirt, dust, things like that. Dirt and dust are the same thing. But this one has, as you would expect, the block letters reverse, which is normal for the silver issue of these. So 7060, actually no, this is clad. So variety 1 on there. So yeah, this is a clad strike and not a 40% silver. So that's why it's designated as type 1. Very nice. It sold for only a few bucks shy of $60. Here's another strike through. This one sold on February 12th for $38. So yeah, not a whole lot here. Another strike through. When we look at this, they actually put the reverse showing forward in this particular case. 76D type 1, so it's a clad. You can see a little bit of a strike through here, right above 1. It's anybody's guess what it could be. It could be a detached reading piece. It could be a piece of wire, a bristle, something like that. That's how that happens. But overall, pretty neat. Again, that's something that most people would generally overlook. The next one that we have here, we have our first dime, ladies and gentlemen. 1976D Roosevelt dime. Sold on February 5th for a $20 bill. So it's possible that this one didn't need to be graded, but it's a details grade. It shows corroded. It's underweight, 2.25 grams, partially missing clad layer. As you can see, a little bit of the nickel clad is missing in certain areas. The back of the coin looks normal, if not just perfectly circulated for what it is. You know, this is not a miserly coin. This one went about its duties in commerce. One of the more impressive coins I've seen. This is a 1976S on Great Collections, sold for $1,181.25 March 19th. Multiple struck. It's a 40% clad. Aren't you glad to see the clad? Let's see what this one looks like. It's a proof details. The obverse has a scratch on it. So this one, you can see some of the extra strikes here, just this halo effect of the drummer boy on the reverse, along with all these stars, which are multiple struck as well. I mean, this thing is, again, a very nutty looking coin. There's your obverse. I mean, if you didn't know if something was wrong with it, then, you know, I just don't know how you could spend something like that. It is 40% silver, so more than likely it's not going to get spent by too many people. But in any event, $1,181 was the sale price for this one. A few Heritage Auctions premier pieces. This is one of the thumbnail pieces. I just absolutely love the color on this. 76S candy half dollar. It says S, but it looks like a D. But no, it's an S. It's a proof too, so that supports the S mint. Double struck on clad planchet, or cent planchet rather. So this is a planchet intended for like a Lincoln cent. And you can see it's double struck in certain areas. There's another look at the back. Again, these oranges, purples, and reds really flow here with this one. There's the graded holder, Proof 65 red brown, double struck on 1 cent plan. This one sold for $5,280 back in January. So again, another recent sale. Last 2 coins, another impressive one here. 1976 Bicentennial quarter, 2 coin mated pair. So they're speculating there was a quarter and a dime planchet that was stacked on top of each other inadvertently, and then both coins were smushed together during a striking process. The obverse of the quarter is fully blah blah blah. It didn't say that, but this is a 2-piece set. So you have this here, which is kind of like the cap, and then you have this little piece that received into this cavity right here. So 2-piece, I guess, bonded set is what they call it. What's cool is it's graded in the same holder by NGC. Brilliant uncirculated 2 coin mated pair is what it shows on there. This one sold for $2,880. And then finally, the last one we're going to talk about, and of course, we got to throw a nickel in there. It's the only one that we haven't talked about yet. 1976S. This is a proof, so it's strange that this one was even found in a proof set, which just goes to show you never know what you're going to find in whatever. This is a Jefferson nickel that was struck on a Lincoln cent planchet, again intended for a proof strike, and this one ended up in a proof set and was distributed out into the world in which we live. There is the NGC slab right there. Proof 68 red ultra cameo. Even has the weight there in grams, 3.1. Again, very beautiful coin, and this one ended at $4,800. We're talking some rich coins here. So that's kind of a look at some 1976 era coins that actually were found and subsequently sold for a pretty nice fair bit of money. A lot of them did. There were a few that sold for, 20, 30, 40 bucks here and there. But that was a lot of fun. Always look out for these. Bicentennials are hunted through constantly for what they are, and people are actually still saving them and putting them in rolls and all that great stuff. The Mint produced millions of these, so there's plenty to go around and plenty to hunt through. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys again for tuning in on this video. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. You guys take care. Happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.